Hello. Hi. In a couple of weeks, me and my good friend Henry, who is the double bass player that's played on my channel, we have a gig coming up, and I have no idea as to how I'm going to be using my system. Me and Henry have done things before on the channel and live. Here's some examples. What lovely music. Wow. Beautiful. But normally we play with our good friend Max, who is a saxophonist. Here's an example of Max. Wow. But the thing is that Max unfortunately can't make this gig. So it's just going to be me and Henry for this one. And I'm very excited for it. I think that when I'm put in, different situations, different arrangements of instruments and players, I'm going to create different music. And when it's just me and Henry, I think we make some really beautiful music that is slightly different to what we make as a trio. Here's our trio example. Whoa, crazy music. Golly gee. They let us play that live? Yes, they do. So any of my adoring fans in my area, feel free to come out. But yeah, so what are we talking about here? I'm going to record my process, just sort of zoom through patching it all up. And then afterwards, I'm going to explain what I'm doing for the gig. So it'll be a bunch of fast movements, me patching it all up and workshopping ideas, experimenting, and you can sort of see how long it takes me to do. And then afterwards, I'm going to talk about why I've done all the things I've done and sort of talk about my approach with Eurorack in a live setting. I think I'm pretty good at using Eurorack in a live setting. Not to, blow my own horn or anything. But, people have said I do a pretty good job. So I guess this could be a good learning experience. And it's also a great way for me to be motivated to do this because I've known about this gig for a month now and I still haven't. I've been working on all my cool new tape stuff. Thank you. Okay, well, here I go. I'm going to put the microphone down now and I'm going to start making some noises and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I think I'm done. I think this looks pretty good. It's pretty simple. Unfortunately, it looks different because towards the end my camera died. So yeah, but that's okay. That doesn't matter. I'm gonna go through it now and see and sort of show my thoughts about it and everything, and then I'll probably do like a little performance on it as well. But I like it. I think it's cool. It's simple. It's not too, crazy. But we'll see. Here it is. So what I've got is, for the gig, I don't want to take all 3 of my keyboards because it's just a nuisance to have to take that many keyboards. Yes, the key step is small, but taking both of these is a bit annoying for sure. Especially as well because the DX7 is so heavy. However, because Max isn't able to make it, our saxophone player, I do want to take the DX7 with me. It'll be sort of an extra voice that I can jump to create some variety. When I play with the guys in the trio, I feel like I don't have to do too much because I've got 2 very excellent musicians with me. And so I only need to make a couple of small choices while we're playing. Let me just move the microphone, that makes it a bit easier. But this is what I've got. And then I've got this down here. And I'm going to take the key step with me, which normally the key step is plugged into my Mother 32. And I just use it for just the Mother 32. And then this, usually I have this controlling the DPO. And then I will have my sequencer controlling the STO. And that's sort of like 3 voices that all go into my Clouds clone. And then I get some things out of that too. But with this setup, it's now that the key step controls the DPO, because the DPO is just like, I've talked about it before. It's like, I'm a massive fan of it. It's such a cool voice. And like, yes, it's got all these points for modulation, which I use if I'm recording a video or if I'm recording something to release on an album or something like that. But in a live setting, I have to make something that's a bit more simple to use. And so I don't usually use many like modulating things like function generators to control things too much. I'm not even using this one here. But you can get so much variety just by twisting all of the different knobs on it. And especially as well, the way that we will be approaching this gig, I think we'll have a theme of decaying sounds over time. And so as we play, because we'll probably play for 40 minutes straight as we play, and the music's roughly, it's quite improvised, but we have a sort of vague plan as to what we want to do. The music will slowly decay. And so the way I'm going to interpret that term or that concept of decay will be decaying the pitch, so that the pitch becomes unstable and not sort of set to equal temperaments. Introducing noise, not just as a sound source, but as a modulator. Specifically, I'll use that in like the STO. The sync input, I've got the noise output from the tie, the instro tie, and I'm just using that. I'm putting through an attenuator, and then it goes through into the hard sync of the STO, which gets some really, really cool sounds as you keep like turning up more and more. It just turns into this crunchiness, and it just the actual pitch disappears eventually. It's a cool way to use noise. Then the decaying using like the FM bus and the mod bus in the DPO, that does a whole bunch of stuff. And then the Mother 32, I don't really have a way of decaying it right now. I guess, just using its LFO and turning it up into audio rates and then doing that. So I might do more patching in the patch bay over here, but you really don't even have to on the Mother 32. It kind of is pretty, set in place, and you can do a couple of extra things with this here. But okay, so let's talk about the main difference compared to my last gig. The last gig I didn't even use my my sequencer, the Metropolis by IntelliGel. This time I'm really wanting to use it and trying to push myself to learn how I can use it in more of a performative situation. Again, like I'm not really, the only things I'm using are just the pitch outputs and one of the gates. Everything else, barely, I'm not using anything else. I've got these two set to two different things. I usually have Control 2 for the speed, so I can like change the speed really quickly and get these like sort of different effects. And then the Control 1 I have set up to control the octave of the first voice. But that's it. I want to just go through and try and use more of the loopy thing that they've got, that loop stuff. Use that more. Use it as like a keyboard as well, because like if you turn on loopy and then play, it will create sound if everything's turned on. So that's cool. So I want to use it for that as well. I'll even show actually, if I plug this into here. So there's the and now if I this is that decay thing I was talking about. Until it's just noise. And then changing the shape as well creates some really great sounds. I've got this function generator here just as an LFO, and that's controlling just to get some warble. So that's cool. And then I'm using the Ties random output on the Chaos algorithm, and I use that in the FM bus. So you get some cool sounds out of that. Let me see if I can get some cool sounds. So yeah, and then the DX7 will have the, I've got my little flashback mini pedal here, and I'll just use that at the gig. And a bit of reverb too. That's it. It's a very, very simple setup, really. Like there's not like any complex stuff that Maths is doing or the function generators. I don't think that that's the right thing to do in a live performance situation, because it will stuff up. I knowing, you know, like my experience as a performer, if you go too ambitious with certain things, they will goof up. And that's not to, you know, I could get to the point where I feel more confident to do that sort of thing. But it's also as well like, what am I trying to get out of my stuff? This is enough. It doesn't have to be, you know, this elaborately complex idea. I think that when I was younger, I used to really stress that I wasn't using everything to its fullest, craziest capabilities, but this music isn't calling for that. This music is, you know, our theme will be decay. It's going into autumn here, so we need to probably address that and see, how do we interpret sort of a autumn sound. I think, you know, to be able to get that feel across. It's going to be cold on the night, which I'm happy about, so we want to make sure that we can play some cold music, whatever that is. So yeah, I think I might do a performance now and sort of see how all of the parts come together.